Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. I mentioned Zentangles in the last video, but I didn't really explain what they were or how to do them, mostly because I know a lot of my students have done them already, but a lot of you have not taken 2D design with me, and maybe you have, but you need instructions again. And either way, I just thought it would be a good little thing to talk about because Zentangles are really good for calming down and de-stressing and kind of forgetting everything else going on in the world and focusing on a small little detail and pattern. I'm going to show you how to make 8 different patterns of a Zentangle. I'll also include a link in the description to go to a PDF that has like 100 ideas, not that many ideas, but a lot more ideas than what I'm going to show you. They basically end up looking like something like this. But they could look like a lot of different things. I just fill the page up with patterns, but a lot of people will kind of like design an animal or something like that and then fill it with Zentangles. That's a good option. You just need a piece of paper and something to draw with. Once again, I recommend not a pencil, a pen over a pencil if possible, just because then you can't erase your mistakes. And also pencils smudge really bad. I'm gonna use my Micron liners again, which look like this. Sharpie is a good option, pen is a good option. The other bonus of making Zentangles is you've kind of got, when you're done, you've got like a built-in coloring page that you can fill with watercolor or markers or anything like that. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. I found this box over here empty on a shelf at Winco. No toilet paper left, but they had that box and I was like, I'm gonna rig up a filming system. So I'm gonna go over there and put my phone upside down and we're gonna see how this works, and I'm gonna show you how to make some patterns.
So the first pattern that we're gonna start with is actually my favorite way to doodle. I used to fill my margins on my school paper with this pattern. It's super simple. You just pick an edge and start making circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger, sort of like you're making bullseyes. And you can make them coming out from any direction that you want, and you can either fill the space with those or if you want to get crazy with it, I've always thought that they sort of look like waves, so you can make a weird little octopus tentacle coming out from your spiral waves. The next one is easy as it gets. Start by just making a checkerboard pattern. You can either freehand it or use a ruler. There are no rules in quarantine. I colored these in super fast to get it done, but you can obviously take your time and do a better job with the coloring than I did. Once you're done with the black squares, you can either leave it be, it kind of looks like a chess or a checkerboard, or you can fill the white squares with whatever kinds of designs that you want. Yeah, really open-ended. The third pattern is kind of like a feather, I don't know, cobblestone sort of thing. You basically just make long ovals next to each other and duplicate it in rows, just making sure that the top of the second row kind of connects both the centers of the ones underneath it. Once again, you can leave it as it is. I kind of created little pupils to make the middle row look like eyeballs. You can also add extra lines to create a rainbow pattern, or even do like a little feather or leaf design. This next one is super simple. Just create a long windy line that doesn't ever cross itself. It kind of ends up looking like coral reef. And then there's this pattern that you can do. It's just as simple as creating lots of repeating line. It'll look different depending on how close together or far apart you put your lines, and if you actually make them intersect or keep them spaced. This next one is probably my favorite one. You start by making a grid of dots, and then you use backwards S's to connect all of the dots vertically first before flipping the page 90 degrees and using backward S's to connect them horizontally as well. It creates this super trippy pattern. You can also play around with actual images, so you can create basically ropes, either straight or curvy edges. If you use straight little lines like that, that's called hatching to create a shadow. If you go back over the lines the opposite direction, that's called cross hatching. So that just adds a little detail to the design. And then the background can basically be anything you want it to be. The more playful and creative these get, the better. And then the last design is for my geometric folks. Start by creating 3 dots to create a triangle, and then draw lines that start from one point and head towards the edges. And then draw an additional dot to create your next triangle, and repeat the process, trying to keep all of your lines going in different directions. And then you basically can just keep going and fill up the entire space with these funky little triangles. To start my Zentangle design, I just start by using a ruler or a straight edge to create a few different lines to divide up my page into different sections. You can also draw circles or curvy organic lines, and basically what you're doing is creating lots of different sections that you can fill with different patterns. It kind of ends up looking like this, so you can see where my lines were originally and how I filled them up with pattern.
So that's pretty much it. As always, if you decide to make one of these, please, please, please send me a picture, because I would love to see what you all are up to. I miss you guys so much. This is getting sad, but we're gonna get through it, and art makes everything better. Have a good one.